that way for you.
So we'll give it a second here to make sure that we are actually live before we start talking, as I don't want you to miss anything about our super exciting guest that we have for today. So I think we're good to go. Says it's about 15 seconds in. So I want to introduce to you Lori Lyons. And Lori, I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it exactly correct.
Hey, read away, read away.
I've
Yeah.
known Lori for a while and I absolutely love her. And she is magic in what she does. So she is a marketing strategist that owns a digital agency that specializes in website design. So
Yes.
just from my personal perspective, she's all things marketing and is super at it. So
Well, thank you.
welcome, Lori. And I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm excited. This is going to be fun and hopefully educational for your audience. And, we'll just go where it goes.
Exactly. We'll just kind of hang out and chat and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about kind of how it is that we started working together on this. And if you want to go into a little bit, maybe have you tell your story, and we'll kind of go
Sure.
from there.
Sure. About maybe a year and a half ago, I don't know for sure because sometimes when you don't feel good, it just kind of creeps up on you, and all of a sudden you don't feel good until you feel better. So it really just kind of crept up on me. And right at a year ago, I was starting to lose my hair. Now, thankfully, I have plenty of hair. So I had a little bit to spare, but it's discerning when you're in the shower and you're getting like hair in your hands and you've never had that before. So I, went to the internet and Googled and it's like, oh, I have a thyroid problem. Dr. Webb right here. I have a thyroid problem. So I made an appointment with my doctor and my reason for the visit is like I want to get my thyroid checked. Have my appointment, go get my blood work, and she calls me the next day and she says, "I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is your thyroid is fine. The bad news is I need you to go to the hospital right now because your blood sugar is 451, which if you're not familiar with blood sugar, which I had no idea, that's really high." and and my first comment was, "I got things to do. It's Friday afternoon. Can I go in on Monday? Because let's schedule this. I'm a planner. I'm a type A. I planned the birth of my child. Come on." So he was a planned C-section. So it had to be anyway. We won't go into that. But it was like, I can't go this afternoon. She's like, "No, you need to hear me. You need to go right now because this is life-threateningly borderline on deadly dangerous and your body can start shutting down." So I took myself to the hospital and they gave me insulin and got it, under control. And there began a lifestyle change that I wasn't expecting that came upon me suddenly, although doing some research, the signs were there. I just kind of didn't realize it because I was working hard. There was a lot going on. I was tired. As women, when you get older, you go to the bathroom a lot anyway. I was going to the bathroom all the time, getting up several times during the night, and I craved sugar. I would sit and eat boxes of Nestle's Crunch and where nobody could see me because I was just craving sugar. No clue that that's what it was. So, once I was diagnosed, I came home and as I'm sitting in the emergency room of the hospital waiting and waiting because COVID was going on. This was a year ago, so they were like, "Hey," I had to wait a long time, and I thought, all right, this is a lifestyle change. This is something that I'm going to have to figure out how to live with. The first thing that I did was I cut sugar. The second thing I did was I called my friend Diana. And that so we kind of worked through that, but I decided it was not going to define me. That it was not going to I wasn't going to be woe is me, I can't have sugar, or woe is me, I can't do this, woe is me, you know, because that's not who I am. I've had physical challenges, throughout my adult life, and it's like if I can do this, if I can do that, I can do this. So that's kind of where, that's the long story encapsulated, but basically I cut out sugar and bread, and A1C is the markers that they use to say what your blood sugar, because it somehow knows over the last 3 months what your blood sugar is. So when I started, my A1C, that with that first blood test, was 14.5, I think, which is really high. When I went back 3 months later, it was at 6.4. So it was really a huge difference by cutting out sugar. And at the time, I cut out bread. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, so that's my story. And it's an interesting one, but like I said, I don't let it define me.
Well, and I think that's an important distinction to make is because you can have something that impacts your life and changes it significantly, but it doesn't have to confine you or define you.
Right.
And really taking a look at what it is that you can do in other ways because the way that Lori and I work together is not so much from the medical practice
Mhm.
perspective, but it's all of these other things that you can do that are within your control that let you bring out more of who you are. Um,
Yes.
do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other things that you noticed as far as when, you got the diagnosis, you started cutting out sugar, but other changes that you noticed in your body?
Yeah, I started, well, by cutting out the sugar and the bread immediately. I started losing, because with diabetes, if your weight goes down, that helps. And that's been probably a bigger challenge for me, is over the course of the year, and the bigger frustration is, like, I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm eating healthy. I'm following my friend Diana's advice. and and not the greatest at exercising, I will have to admit, but when I do it, I enjoy it. I just get so busy, I let it go. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I need to do. But the as far as a lifestyle change, it wasn't it wasn't a I'm giving up something. It was I'm getting something. I started feeling better. When you start sleeping through the night, not having to go to the bathroom at our age, that's huge.
Yeah.
So it really made me feel 10 years younger. It made me feel that, I can have an ageless life because I'm feeling better. I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. And I am not a health freak. I mean, Diana and I have, we have discussions all the time. I Sunday, I went to a friend's birthday party, and, well, look, since the holidays, I haven't been exactly sugar free. So I'm getting back on that. So I'd taken my sugar off again. And, I just thought, well, hey, but I could tell a difference in my blood sugar levels. I was having trouble controlling, and I say controlling it. It's not where it has been in a good level for me. Um, so I had cake on Sunday. In fact, I had 2 pieces of cake, but don't tell anybody. But I had a salad and some protein before that, so I planned for that piece of cake. And I am not a huge cake person, I'm an icing person. Cake to me is just the conduit for icing, so I love that's pure sugar. I eat the cake first, and then I savor the icing afterwards. So, and I get make fun of. But I mean, it's stuff like that I really. But then Monday morning, it was like, okay, I'm back, and the less that you do things that are not good for you, the easier it is to get back into the swing. So now, I'll enjoy my piece of sugar, or I'll enjoy my whatever it is. And then the next day I'm like, okay, I'm fine. It, I don't miss it. I don't think about it, but put a bag of double stuffed Oreos in front of me, you know, all rules are off.
Well, and I think that there are a couple really significant things that you said in that. And one is that you're looking at it as not giving something up. So it's almost like when you had that cake, that was a special treat. And you
Yes.
knew that it was a treat and you savored it and you enjoyed it. And then you went back to what it was that you knew you needed to do for you. And the
Right.
second piece is that you really are motivated and don't think of it as a punishment in what it is that you're doing. You're saying, "Okay, this is what happened. Um, today's a new day.
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty about what happened yesterday. In fact, like you said, you know, that kind of that guilty pleasure thing. I had 2 pieces of cake and I really liked it. You know,
Yeah.
so you savor in those things, which makes it easier to come back to. So you're not letting the diabetes and the changes that you've made define you. In some ways, you're using it as an empowerment tool because you know now you have direct feedback as to what happens if you don't. And that's really cool to see that you're embracing that piece of it.
Yeah, and it's something that so many women and men of our age, we struggle with it. I know so many people that have type 2 and you think, "Well, it's never gonna happen to me because I eat healthy, I do this, I do this." And granted, I wasn't the most healthy person in the world to start with, but when I hear all my friends, it's like, "Well, I don't have type 2," you know, ha ha ha. But it comes on you and you just don't know it because of the way we live today. And it's also as a business owner, I work really hard. I work long hours. And it really was for me to step back and say, I need to take care of me. I need to take care of what I need to do to continue going forward. And, part of my brand is high energy and fun. And if I'm not high energy and fun, then I'm not living my brand. I hate when people say, oh, you're being authentic, because if you're trying to be authentic, you're not being authentic. So I have to, that's who I am normally. So I just like, you deal with it and you move on. You do what you need to do with it and you move on, and you focus on things that, because I can control that. I've you know I it's out of it's not out of my control. I can't control everything else that happens around me, but I can control that.
Yeah, and having the making the decision to say, "I'm worth it," and that I'm gonna do this for me, um, can be really challenging, especially as a business owner,
Yeah.
because you put everything in everyone else, but, you know, if you go down, the whole thing goes down.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really kind of scary, that you think, it's because things happen. I mean, like I said, there's things that are beyond our control, but I can control how I feel and what I do, and I can control what I put in my mouth, because nobody makes me eat that second piece of cake except for me. And it was Italian cream cake from a really good bakery. So I didn't just go like to the deli grocery store and get like a cinnamon roll. It was really good. So it was worth it.
I I think that is another great message, is that if you're gonna go off, make it the best that you can of whatever it is that you're gonna eat. I don't care what it is, but if it just the thought of it makes your mouth water and it's just
Yeah.
like that anticipation and everything associated with it is just like
Yep.
makes it
Oh yeah.
absolutely worthwhile.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I love about working with you, Diana, is you never make me feel guilty. I when we when we have our meetings, it's like, "Oh, I got to go to the confessional and tell her what I ate." But that's never, because you're like, I know we've worked together long enough that I know what I should and shouldn't do. But you're like, you know what? You deserve a treat. Don't worry about it. And I love that about working with you, because
Good, good.
and we've known each other for a while. We travel together, and we tease each other, because Diana will say, well, I had some chips, and I'm like, yeah, kale chips, that doesn't count. When you open the bag of Lay's and you eat that's eating chips.
Yes, I sent her a picture of the bag of Lay's that I ate, and it was the little the what, 1
Yeah,
ounce
I'm
or
like,
whatever.
that ain't chips. This is chips. Now, for those of you that recognize, that's Crocodile Dundee. That ain't a knife. This is a knife. That ain't a bag of
Oh,
chips.
yeah,
This is a
that
bag of
was
chips.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
it's little changes like that that you you yourself live and you model and you show and and you talk there. If we go have a bag of chips, we go have a bag of chips. You're
Exactly.
not gonna how are you gonna change that except change it as soon as you throw that bag of chips away, you go, you start right back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, it changes your whole perspective about how you feel about yourself, but also about, you know, sometimes you do things that you weren't expecting, but man, was
Mhm.
it fun or
Yeah.
enjoyable or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. Or the flip side of that is not everything in life is fun. There are things that happen to you, type 2. I have no right ankle. My son calls me the bionic person because I crushed my right ankle in a car accident. I can't run. I can't, now my orthopedic said this is dating me, but if you get invited to go snow skiing with Jean-Claude Van Damme or whatever his name is, you can go. Tom Selleck, invite go. But for a normal person, I don't do stuff like that because my ankle doesn't move that way. So what? I can't tell you honestly that giving up running was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But so you so you make modifications in other ways. There's other things that I can do to get, I swim instead of going and running on a treadmill because that's not something I can do. I can walk on a treadmill for a limited time, but I can't run on it. But I can swim and I can swim as long as I want. And it gives that exercise and gives that. So you make modifications.
exactly, being able to adapt to whatever situation you're in, and sometimes you need a little help with figuring those out, and sometimes
Yeah.
you can do it on your own. I didn't know until I'd known you for a couple of years that you had an issue with your ankle.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like for you, it was like, "Well, this is the way it is, and
Mhm.
I can figure it out," and, it wasn't a merit badge, or it wasn't
Right.
any of those kinds of
Right.
things that people think about when they have whatever it might be
Right.
that's affecting them, so
Right. And the cool thing about you is you work with where you are. Like you can't I'm going to make a plan with you that we're going to run a marathon in 6 months. So go out and start running. That's not me. That physically is not me.
yeah,
So instead, let's talk about where you are and what you can do and let's work that plan, which it's great. And if I said to you, all right, I have to have a bag of double stuffed Oreos every week, or I can't make it in life. We would figure out a way to work that bag in.
yep,
Now, yours would be, we'll have to and put the bag up. No. But I appreciate that because that makes it livable, that makes it doable, that makes it simple, and
yeah,
that makes it like you're not depriving of anything.
yeah, and
So I appreciate
that
that.
is the toughest part. If you're in deprivation mode, and whenever you say to yourself, "I can't have something," all that does is mean, "I want it. I want it, and
Oh, yeah.
I have to have it."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I'm not a huge dark chocolate fan. There's a couple of dark chocolates that I like, but they're a little too bitter. So my husband loves chocolate, and he's at a point in I mean, he's skinnier than me, so he can eat the dark chocolate. So when I go get chocolate, I get dark chocolate because I know it's not going to tempt me, and I'm okay with that because chocolate is usually not tempting for me.
Yeah,
But I make sure that it's not going to tempt me because if it's Hershey's Kisses, right there, So yeah, so it's you do things that help make it easier for you too.
yeah. Which is really critical. I had one lady that, she would put she would buy it, and then she would take out a serving and then put the rest of it in the trunk of her car,
Oh
because
wow,
she knew by the time she went from where she was out to her car to get it, she would be able to stop herself. So I
oh that's
thought that
funny.
that was
That's
pretty
funny.
funny. But,
Yeah,
you're right. You come
yeah,
up with things, and it makes it so much more
right.
interesting.
Right. And we've primarily focused on diet, but you encourage you to, the hydration, drinking more water. I don't drink I I can count on one hand the times in the last 5 years that I've had soda, and that's usually when I go to a Zaxby's or something that has those dial wheels and I get a Fanta Orange Zero. That's my weakness. I will have one of those, but I don't drink soda. I very rarely drink iced tea. I drink hot tea, deep like herbal tea.
Yeah,
So I stay hot now. I drink a lot of coffee, but it's staying that hydrated and drinking that water and really regulating your sleep that helps too. So those are the three things you really talk about is movement, sleep, and hydration. And
yeah.
yeah, encourage. So
Well, and building those little building blocks, so it's not like,
yeah,
"Okay, today I want you to drink, a gallon of water." It's like,
right.
that's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Daily habits. Yep. Daily things that you work into your lifestyle. So it's cool.
Great. So is there, anything else you wanna chat about or talk about? We're at about 20 minutes now.
You know, we can sit here and talk for an hour. What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about,
Oh, there's so
it's
much we can talk about.
yeah, and if any of your audience has questions or something, I'd be happy to answer. We can talk business, we can talk diabetes, we can talk working with Diana.
Well, and I do wanna take a second and talk about, the work that I've done with you because I think that is really important. I came from a background in which, I was a pharmacist for 30 years, and in healthcare, we have a certain way that we talk about things and a way that we focus. And what I'm doing now is not healthcare, but it's more of the supportive things, and it's based on all the things that I learned there. I've had to learn a whole new language and a whole new way to talk to people and what to say and how it needs to look because I need to entice them to look or to want to work with me rather than they're there for a reason, they have a certain, so it's a very different kind of thing. And I tell Lori I am educable. I didn't always
You're
get it
coachable.
at first, but, it took time. So, things that she would say to me, and she would say, "Now, okay, so this is what you're trying to do." And has been very, it's been great because I'm actually learning more about what I need to do,
Good.
but also I can do the work that I wanna do, and that's
Yeah.
really what it's all about. So,
Yeah.
thank you for all of that, and
You're welcome.
seriously, if you have any questions or any of that kind of stuff with regard to any of the marketing or marketing strategy or website or any of those kinds of things, this is your gal. She's the one to talk to for sure, so
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Thank you.
yeah,
It's a very mutually beneficial relationship as well as fun and,
it
just
is.
community.
We have a blast.
So, yeah. Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, we will sign off. Look forward to seeing you all. And if you have any questions, DM either me or Lori. If you don't know Lori, how to reach her, please just reach out to me. I'd be happy to share any information. And if you want to schedule time with either of us, do it. We'd love to talk to you.
Yes.
Bye bye for now.
Bye, everybody.